To do your research for the compare-contrast essay of 2 careers, you will use the Occupational Outlook Handbook website. I just found that by clicking on the link I have provided for you, or you can do a search for Occupational Outlook Handbook. You will find the 2 careers you're interested in comparing and use the sources that you find. You can use either these occupational groups or you can type in a search. I will type in teacher. Let's see. I am a post-secondary teacher, so I'm going to type that in or select the one that pertains to my research. So here's what you have available to you. You have different tabs, and I suggest that you choose the 3 traits that you are going to compare between the 2 occupations, the 2 careers, by these tabs. They can help you decide what to compare. For example, the pay, the job outlook, which is how many more jobs in this field are going to be available. You don't want to necessarily get a job in a field that doesn't have any job openings. How to become one, so how much education do you need? The work environment, you'll want to know that. What do they do? You may be surprised to learn what your particular field of education or career field involves. So you would want to read that closely. But I would just pick 3 of these. So the things they do, does that fit with your personality? The work environment might also either fit or not fit with your personality or your expectations as far as work schedule. If you are in healthcare, you have more flexibility in your hours. If you are a teacher, you're going to work Monday through Friday, set number of hours for the most part. So look at that. That's one consideration. How much education are you willing to undergo? That might be something that you want to look at. The pay, does the pay fit with what you are needing as far as your comfort level for providing for yourself and your family? And then you have similar occupations, so you could look under similar occupations to see how another job might compare to what you are interested in. This will be especially helpful if you are not sure of another job that you want to compare with the job that you are considering or here getting a degree to pursue. So once you have your sources, you'll want to do the Works Cited page for your sources as you go. And one way to know that you are doing your Works Cited page correctly is to look at one resource. Purdue OWL in particular is a good one that maintains updates to the different formats, and for English classes you will always use MLA format, so don't confuse it with APA, and there are lots of different kinds of formats, so look for MLA, and you'll want to click on the style guide. There's several different links that you can find Purdue OWL in. And so the Works Cited page, they have general format and then the style guide. They have all kinds of videos, but here are the basics of what you need for a Works Cited. They have a sample Works Cited page for you. This is an electronic source because it's a website. So let's look at how to format an electronic source. And this is something that no one memorizes. It updates regularly, and so you want to make sure that you check to see if you are doing all the things necessary to correctly cite your source. And one way that I like to know that I'm getting everything in is I like to just copy and paste what I need to a Word document. And I need to set up, I'm going to show you how to set up a Word document for a Works Cited page. For all MLA format, you will need 12-point Times New Roman font. You're going to need double spacing. You're going to need to also take care of the spacing that Word automatically puts in. You want both of these to be 0. You don't want extra space every time you hit enter. And then for a Works Cited page, you're going to use a hanging indent. But first I want to set up my title by centering the words Works Cited and then hitting enter and back to left justified here. And I'm going to come back to the little paragraph icon, and in the drop box under special, click hanging and OK. So now, if you'll remember, I copied a little bit of information that tells me all of these things they have in this list go in this format. And so I'm just copying this and I'm going to paste it to the Word document I just created with my hanging indent. And because I took the time to create my spacing and all of that information in the format of the Word document, I want to click the center clipboard that says Merge Formatting. Notice if I go the other way, it changes it a little bit. If I keep source formatting, if I go this way, it took away some italics and things that I need to save. So I want the middle one, Merge Formatting. So the first thing that Purdue OWL tells us we need for the Works Cited source citation is an author. But when using big websites, their databases basically like this one, there is no single author. This is a government website, so it is updated regularly by lots of people. So when you know that you are missing an element they're asking for, you just skip to the next one. So the next one is title of the web page, and it goes in quotation marks. The quotation marks tell us that. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter and then arrow up to be ready for my title of my web page. And the title is Post-Secondary Teachers. Notice that there is a period here and then a closing quotation marks and then one space. And then I'm going to use italics for the container. The thing containing this web page is the website. If this were a book, if I were citing an entire book, it would just start with the author's last name, comma, first name, period. Then it would go straight to the title of the book. But here we are going to use a website, and it is called the Occupational Outlook Handbook. So we will do that in italics. And my italics did not stay there, so I can highlight it and click italics there. Why is that not in Times New Roman? I do not know. Let's fix it. So sometimes if things get a little off, just highlight the whole thing, go back and fix it. If your hanging indent gets off, you can go back to this little square next to paragraph and make sure you've got a hanging indent going. All right, that looks like that was time well spent. Now, no more italics. I have the other contributors or translators. There are none listed on the website. No versions or editions or numbers or volumes. This would be for an academic journal, most likely, or if you were using an anthology, as you will in English 102, then that would be important there. The publisher, for websites, the publishers are usually listed at the bottom. So let's take a look. at our publisher, often next to a copyright symbol. But I am going to, anytime I can copy and paste, I will. I don't know if this is going to work out because I don't want it in all caps, but at least I'll have the basics with the name of the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. I'm going to paste that in. Let's see. Yeah, I don't want it italicized and I don't want it in all caps. Here's my closest pasting option. I'm just going to take off the italics and type U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So if you find that you have something that appears in all caps, if you are using a citation generator, for example, and it puts something in all caps, you need to go back and fix that. Make sure that you are following these standards listed here. All right, so after the publisher comes a comma, and I see that here. Publication date. One nice thing about the Occupational Outlook Handbook is that it does offer the publication date at the bottom, even the day that they last updated. But in MLA format, you start with the day, then the month, then the year. Also, the U.S. military does this. So we'll say 10 April 2020. Where are we going? Here. 10 April 2020. Often for websites, they will just have the year listed, and that's okay. You can only put the information you actually have. The location, the pages or paragraphs, we don't have pages listed. This is not a PDF that we got from Alabama Virtual Library, but we do have a URL. So let's copy and paste the URL. It is right here. Copy, and I'll paste that to my Works Cited using that button. And that's really it. There's not a bunch of extra information. Date of access, you can put the date of access if your instructor requires it. You can say accessed. This is generally more MLA 7 format, but I will say I accessed this on the 18th of May. And you put the date that you accessed yours. Now, if I am comparing two occupations, I will need two sources, two different web pages from the Occupational Outlook Handbook. So let's say another possibility for me is respiratory therapy. Maybe I'm considering teaching or respiratory therapy. So let's look. Let's see what respiratory therapists do. So I might consider comparing the pay between a teacher and a respiratory therapist, the education involved, how to become one, what they do. Maybe I don't know what they do, but I've heard about it. So that would be a good place to start. But the basics are going to be the same. So one nice trick that you can use is to basically just copy and paste everything that you have here, as far as the name of the website and the contributor or the publisher is what we have here, but the title is going to change. So let's see what the title of this article is, Respiratory Therapists. So that's what we need to write. How do I know where it goes? Does it go before post-secondary teachers or after? Well, your sources should be in alphabetical order. So P comes before R, which means that it comes after. Respiratory therapists, and then look, I can copy all of this part all the way to the comma because it is from the same database, same basic website. I have to change the updated version of that page because it's going to be different more than likely. Oh, it isn't different. They all updated on April 10th.